I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you! You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Power.
Hello, power, everybody. How you doing? This is Tyler Yonke, LPR, coming to you on a 4th of July. Still, we're doing Fridays. Yeah, I'm wearing a hat. It's I went golfing. I just got back from golfing. Let's see here. So you can see this nice little flag on this side. I'm not gonna show you my hair. So I went golfing with my son today, and he's like, I'm gonna beat you, and I'm okay. I've been starting to get back into it a little bit more, and we played the white tees, which it was too far forward really for me today, because I've been playing much better. Shot a 78, not too bad. He did not beat me. He did not come that close, but he's working on it. And I'm working on it too. A lot of people in the chat. I'm glad we got some people in here. I hope you guys are doing good. Jack Burton's in here. If you don't play the second verse of Money for Nothing, you're not an American. I totally agree. By the way, Mark Knopfler, Dire Straits. That's not my favorite song, but because he is an amazing guitarist. So anybody that plays out there, I don't, but I know he's great. Big fan of Dire Straits and Mark Knopfler. And yeah, I'm sorry, I don't want to get struck. I'm gonna have to delete that portion anyway. That's courtesy of flapper.net. He always puts on the Friday things. He did that video. I stole it, but his little signature was there at the end, and we give him credit for everything. I know there's doubling up here because of the way I'm trying to do my chat. So it's coming through double. It just makes it look like we have a lot more in here, but not even close. They have so many jams. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Okay, so we've got a little fun time to do here. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Happy Independence Day. I hope everybody's enjoying it. Like I said, I went golfing today. I played pickleball early this morning with my wife. Then we did that. I'm going to tell you about a thing that's happening here in California. Okay, it's some tragedy with a fireworks factory that blew up in this town called Esparto. It's in Yolo County. Yolo. It's not too far from here. I know exactly where it's at. But it blew up, and I have some footage of it. And it's like I was like, this is like a parody. I think it's Simpsons or someone that's talked about, you know, like a fireworks factory, you know, think about going up and, you know, getting lit up and just, you know, that's what happened. And many fireworks shows are not happening because the fireworks factory blew up. Curtis, I played at a place called Wild Hawk. It's in Elk Grove. It's a decent course. My son likes to play there a lot. Shot a 78. What is she? 39. So it was a pretty good day for me. Like I said, we played the white tees, and I really should be playing back, but it came into the somewhat problematic hitting the driver through the fairway on the 18 as an example. Even with the water in there, I got a bogey and still shot it. Anyway, I'm coming around. I know you were out there playing the Teal Bend the other day, you said. So yeah. So anyway, happy about that. Life is going pretty good. I did see, and I posted on Twitter pictures of, because the cycling, people hate cyclists. I went on Fifth Till Midnight, the podcast the other day. They hate cyclists. I get it. I used to be a professional, and then I raced as a amateur, what's called masters. And we're gonna get into a little bit of this because they just had their nationals. I did not go this year. I'm fat fuck, and I need to get my shit together. So I'm doing this kind of stuff, and I talk about it to try to revitalize myself. But I thought let's start over here. Let's go here. Someone, I think this was what Andrew guy. Let me see here, because he posted, he sent me Andrew Jacobs. Andrew Jacobs said, great podcast. I discovered Tyler via a great the great but now defunct Tower Gang podcast. He produced it and was responsible for all the perfectly placed drops throughout it. And LPR is a great podcast as well. I love legalese, even though I don't understand most of it. And Tyler's day job as an attorney makes this edutainment ear candy of the highest order for me. So I really appreciate that. You guys do some stuff like that. I will try to read those out on air as best we can. Road bikers need to man up and hit the trails. So look, I used to do mountain biking as well. Back when I was racing professionally, I think I did some mountain bike racing, and I was very, so you're typically mountain bikers, they do, if they really want to be good and like professional, they ride almost, probably 80% on the road, because that's where you're going to be able to do your intervals, your fitness is really, so. We rode and raced with a lot of them. And then I sometimes would go do mountain bike races, did one at Winter Park. And, I could do great. Like this was a 3-step, and you guys don't want to hear much of this, but it was a 3-step, like a way that they got to the top of the mountain, and then you just came all the way down. And it was like, you take a up, and then you do some down, then you go up. By the time you hit the 3rd time, you're at the top and come down. By the time we hit the top, I'm in the lead. Okay. This is pretty elite mountain biking too. But I could not descend like these other guys. So I hit a tree. Anyway, I ended up like 5th place, wrecked myself pretty good. But yeah, I get it. And not everybody wants to hear about that, but I just love the experience of riding, racing, training and all that stuff. And I kind of miss it at some point, but okay, let's get back into this. So, that was, you guys want to see this real quick? This is what professional cyclists do. I just found this video here. This is a guy named Tom Pidcock, and he's going downhill. And this is as someone who's done this, and this actually bothers me. It is so fast. He is so amazing at doing this. We'll just watch this for a little bit. Let's see if we can get the speed. 87 kilometers an hour. Almost probably 42. But it's really the cornering that you're going to be able to do on this. This is just, and if you wreck, you're going to be in a world of hurt. It's people, 2 years ago died in the Tour de Suisse going over a mountain like that. So this is pretty cool stuff. Let's see if we could get here a little bit faster speed. He's doing this super tech, which is actually illegal now. But anyway, there he goes. Okay, I think we're done with that. Let's go to this is me racing. Let's go to this Sparto fire that's happened this
KCRA 3 was the only local station that was live over this fire, getting images from Livecopter 3 as the scene.
If you watch local news, this is always the most annoying thing. They're like, they have to tout. We were the only ones there to see the death and the trauma. Curtis says, did you ever ride the Tour of California? I did not ride the Tour of California. I was already too old. I did other ones before the Tour of California came along. I did other big races, but I did, cause I had a podcast at the time. It's called Between Two Wheels. I was the Zach Galifianakis of cycling. And we went there as news and I reported on it and did bunch of podcasts from there. But anyway, local news always just blows me away.
Unfolded. We've combined some of that video from the air with sound from the ground from those exact moments to give you a real feel for the intensity of that scene.
This is just the other day.
At around 6:20, Livecopter 3 first arrived at the scene. This was about a half hour after the initial explosion, and you could see how far the debris was thrown. This fire creating a cloud of smoke that could be seen for miles. We also spotted a lot of fireworks shooting off in the burn zone, launching and exploding. And then at around 6:41, a large explosion rocked the scene as the fire reached a new section of fireworks. That blast put up a new plume of smoke. And about 20 minutes later, we saw the fire getting into the largest still intact building. Moments later, flames were shooting from one end and smoke begins pouring out when another even larger blast, this one creating a huge ball of fire and sending more debris flying. Hours after the initial explosion, we could still see some smaller fireworks igniting and the fires still burning.
Like, boing, boing. Okay. Fascinating. So I don't know if you wanted to see that, but You know, friends of ours are up in Tahoe, and they're like, the Tahoe fireworks are canceled. Well, it's because they all blew up. Right? They all blew up. I thought we would just play this real quick. They were just going through some fun times here.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman.
It does crack me up. I saw this the other day. It was Matt Walsh, and this trans person was having an argument with him, and like, you know, I've been told I am just I look just like a woman. All right, you know, I'm told and he goes, yeah, that actually, your defense is actually exactly what I'm talking about here, which is not realistic. No one, as he said, he goes, no one's ever come up to me and said, you know what, you look just like a man. It's like, that does not happen. Just like this guy protesting, eyes not in the women. I'm not going to wear carry a purse. I'm not going to wear makeup. And like, I'm okay. Do you have to? Is that on the menu if you're gay? I mean, you know, all power to you. But yeah, Scott's happy Independence Day, Tyler. Thanks, everybody. Happy 4th to everybody. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Anyway, so I just thought that was pretty funny. We're going to get into the main thing. Okay, I'm not going to play my own cycling stuff here. I did have a video of that. Let's start here with what I wanted to take. This is Nancy Mace comes into, she posts this thing. Now, remember, we did just a video a few weeks ago where she had a whole congressional hearing. And the hearing was about, it was either her ex-husband or her boyfriend. And I think it was a boyfriend who she said, and she had video and it's blurred because she's walking around the house, not in her pajamas, but in something much less than that. And so she had to blur it. My point is, this is not what she's wearing to bed. Pajamas. This is so stupid. So she had trouble with the flight. And so she wants to come and vote. So she does this really performative thing. So let's take a listen here. Is it any volume? Just a dog. She has her dog roaming around.
On the road again, going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again, and I can't wait to get on the road again.
What a bitch. Talking about the dog. I don't want to get struck here, so we're going to just silence this, keep watching this, because she doesn't say anything of importance.
Strawberry cap, diced, peppered, and then I want to do a waffle with chocolate chips like the young lady at the end of the aisle. Good order. Thank you.
Oh God, this is so excruciating. These are the people that are making the decisions on your life. Yeah, that's it. Now it doesn't get any better because we've got. Let's see if this one. Why is this having trouble loading? Okay, well, for some reason this isn't loading, but it's. I'm trying to do it here with this Brittany Patterson. Let's just see if we can do her. Brittany Patterson child. And we're going to just find here. Let's see. Is this the? Okay, here we go. This is her doing her job, but she's got her child there because for some reason
served under many Democrats, Republicans. You've always been nonpartisan and done your job to put our country first, and we appreciate your steadfast leadership. And if you are not reappointed, it will be very missed here. I have some concerns when I think about, I know you've touched on this a little bit through the questions today.
Okay, we don't really need to play all the, it's not necessarily the best view of it there. So this person, for some reason, insists on having her child. Here's another one.
I understand that my colleague, Representative Luna, has done everything she can to try to find a path forward. And this is ultimately the only option that existed at the end. But this does not address the real barriers that people will continue to face. This would be the last week that I could have been home, still working in my district, working as a member of Congress and representing my constituents, but making sure that I was not traveling across the country with my son. Do you think that there would be one Republican here today that would stand and vote present on the bills this week coming forward on my behalf? I don't think so. This is why this is not a workable solution. This is not going to address when people are unable to be here for medical reasons.
I know. And am I going to get shit about the Family Medical Leave Act and that she's not? I mean, look, I will say this. This is pretty performative, and just like the pajamas one was, right? It's pretty pathetic. And this is the kind of mentality you have up there. People get elected, and then this is how they're going to, bring your child. Come on, you don't have a husband. I mean, I think she just had a child. This guy can't just like sit in the office with the child, put him in a playpen. You've got to bring her or him, this child on the floor of the Senate or Congress, the House. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid, right? And like, oh, but mothers, they need to work, that maybe, or stay home, or don't run for a job that you're going to have to, whatever. We just watched cycling, right? We saw some of that in it. Tour de France starts tomorrow, by the way, so that's why I'm, excited about it. We just, let's say you have a job and you get pregnant, you're a cyclist, this happens, professional cyclist, and you have a child. Are you going to bring your child to your job? You're not. Maybe this is the kind of job that you just don't bring your child to. I don't know. There's many kinds. Like I'm going to court, right? And it was like, sorry, can I stay home? Maybe you can because we can Zoom. But there's times when trial you can't. You have to go to. You have to be there in person. So what are you gonna do? You're just gonna go. You're gonna suck it up like they've done for 250 years or so. How old is our country? I'm not gonna do the math. I'm not gonna do the math right now. So anyway, this performative bitch.
Well-being of their kid after giving birth, and so while I appreciate trying to find whatever common ground we can, this is not a deal. This does not solve our problem, and we have the work.
Yeah, because her problem is this. It's not the country's, right? So then there's, you have these all over the place. This is her.
Hi, everybody.
Now she hands her off to some dude, but why does this dude have to hold it? Why didn't she just hand it off to her husband? This is so ridiculous. Let's see. Do we have any more? Because that's all her feed is about her and this baby. So there you go. However, what else are we gonna say here? Let's play this one.
Men who serve in Congress. This isn't designed for young families and for young women especially.
No. Congress was designed and built for old white men to represent themselves, and. We've made a lot of progress since then. We get into it because we're public servants and we care about representing our.
This is. I'm sorry, women. You're causing trouble. Like, what did I see? Someone else was like, oh, I couldn't deal with this because I was on my menstrual cycle and I was really irritable. Da da da. You're like, okay, but somehow you want to be put in charge, right? You're gonna go put in charge. But you can't be there because you're a woman, because you have children, or you you bleed once a month, and that makes you too irritable, and you can't do it. Okay, then I'm sorry. Then maybe this job isn't for you, right? We've come a long way. Well, have we? If you want to be equal to men, let's start by standing up and peeing in a cup. Can you do that? Can you hit it without spraying everywhere? Now, men can't hit a toilet. But you give us this challenge of a cup while standing up. I believe we can do it much better, right? I'm pretty sure that I could hit that pretty good.
But there should be some accommodations for family things that come up, like the birth of a child.
It's not like I'm faking, to go party in Cabo, right? Like I'm actually trying to A, recover, but then B, also care for a newborn.
Our job is to represent people, and I'm a 35-year-old woman. All of my friends are going through this problem right now. That is representing people.
American people are not just.
Why do they act like this is something new? I mean, I'm sorry. My math, let me work it out here. Adam and Eve, and they came together at the same time, and they produced a child. Cain and Abel, right? Not one was good, one wasn't so good, but this is the breaks you get. They had to deal with shit back then. Women this isn't new. Why in 2025 is this like some sort of new crisis we're in?
Single, older men with or without children.
I want to be able to
those
represent
eyes,
my community,
Jesus.
and I want to be able to have a family, and it shouldn't be so hard to figure out how to do both.
Historically, it's been much more wealthy, older men who serve in Congress. This isn't designed for young families and for young women especially.
What is the solution? What do they want the solution to be? You can do it. Okay, we've gone through that whole thing already. Do it from home. Is that what they want? Okay, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention, which is the pajamas, the chicks doing this. Republicans had an issue. Now I didn't see anybody on the floor saying, "Hey, Nancy Mace is wearing her pajamas to work." I didn't see anybody complaining about that but you have John Fetterman over here, right? So, the whole articles about John Fetterman coming to Congress and he's not dressed well, but he's wet. He's not wearing pajamas. So let's at least give him that.
Try to encourage their folks to aspire to a higher bar. Chuck Schumer spawned the floor. I mean, this is a bar that people can shuffle over and probably will.
As loud as it goes, sorry.
The idea of turning the United States Senate into a sports bar is very unappealing to me. It's as though we weren't, thought lowly enough as it is. I don't know if Congress's or the Senate's approval ratings are in double digits, but if they are, it's barely. And Chuck Schumer found a way to try to drag us down, and here we are. It's unfortunate.
Mr. Fetterman was on the picket line with United Auto Workers over the weekend.
What's that got to do with his outfit?
If a United Auto Worker showed up at his place of employment dressed like that, they would be turned away. So that's not typical of how Americans, blue collar or white collar, it's not typical of how they dress when they go to work. And it should not be typical of how we dress when we go to the floor of the United States Senate.
Okay, strong point. Strong point. Let's see. So, what about this one? Okay, what about this one? She's walking down the hall. I don't know if she voted like this, but this is how she went to. So you don't like that he's wearing a hoodie and shorts, but there you have it. This bitch brought her kid to school. Okay, I don't. You're Republicans. You're losing me. You're losing me here when you're trying to enforce, Israel only Fetterman and not these chicks. So anyway, women thrive in the home. Yes, they do. Solution: women in the home. Women shouldn't be political leaders. When will we ever learn? Yeah, that's Nancy. That's coming from a lady. Teenagers don't know any better. At my high school, we had pajama day. So cringe. Yeah, my kids had that as well. And I'm like, whatever. But they're teenagers. Their minds aren't even fully developed. Okay, so they couldn't even vote at the time. So I was fine with it, right? But you want a voter, maybe. But here's the difference, though. School allowed that. That's fine. It's stupid. I get it. I get all that stuff. But you know what? They try to hype spirit and they try to do all their stupid shit. They do that, and then they have a dress code otherwise. So you got to be part of that. And then my kids have jobs and they have requirements for dress code. They get it. We went golfing today. My son had a collared shirt. He actually, it was like mid 80s. I wear shorts, but he got these new pants. So he wanted to wear his golf pants. And so, and they're white. And I'm like, that's risky. But he looked snappy, right? He looked very good. But he looked great on the golf course. So at least he understands what you're supposed to be doing there. So there you go. I just thought we'd talk about those two crazy kooks, some women there, and just people in general in Congress, in the Senate. Now, I wanted to go over this. This was me. I went on 5 Till Midnight show last week, and we had a discussion about family law. I started talking about some stuff with family law, and these guys are great. Look, it was interesting because, my thing I had done with Tower Gang is Tower Gang, and it's just boom, 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 got to get your, it's just jokes, and it's Cole, and it's Toad, and it's just, it's different. And these guys aren't trying to be that, but it's similar because there's 5 of us. Actually, there were 6 of us at one point, and I'm trying to jump in, and it's a little bit more serious. And actually, it was a lot of fun, and I encourage you guys to go check this out. But this show will be defunct as well, because as I pointed out, I reviewed Slurp Gang. It's no longer. I reviewed Not a Podcast. It's no longer. I produced Tower Gang. It's no longer. 5 till midnight. How long are we going to last? So anyway, I kind of wanted to talk about this. Let me play this clip here.
That was not my best friend when.
So I need to premise this. I was talking about family law, and maybe I should just back up here and let me explain it to them. Drink away, Tyler. Okay. However, California and most of these blue states have in their constitution and their codes that you have a presumption of having 50-50 custody of your children. So you get divorced, you want to do, or just paternity, you're starting out with the ability to have a 50-50 presumption. These red states don't have that. So you go to Texas and you're like, hey, I want it. And they're like, you're a guy. You might not be able to have your kids yet. And the reason a lot of these do is because under Social Security Act Title 4D, I think is what it is, it's the states get money for child support. And so if you don't get the dads to have this the presumption of custody, you're actually going to get more state dollars to enforce these actions against men. And they're all just blue states. And it's the most crazy thing out there. Yeah. But, you know, if the Republicans are family, but yet they don't want to allow dads to have their kids like that. So what I was premising this there is that blue states, Democrat states like California, which sucks. If you want to trans your kid, this is the state to do it. They've got provisions for that. But they give men a shot right out of the block. They give men a shot for custody, and that is a wonderful thing because you should be entitled to it. So they're like taking, the presumption is, 50. Anyway, so I was breaking this down. Now, this is, it goes not sideways, but Sam has a response.
Crazy. It is interesting. I think that was like
with Luke first.
Kind of Kyle's area was like that red pill type stuff, and a lot of it came out, or a lot of stuff that came out of it was like divorce courts and how it affects men and things like that. And it's always interesting to hear people talk about it that are well more read up on it than I am, obviously. And it's just, I think it's insane the double standard that's there when it comes to men. And then when you see exactly what you just stated, like the Republican states versus the more Democratic states and how they treat it inside their own policies.
But if you want to trans your kid, you do come to California. You got a chance for that.
Have you seen anything like that?
Well, so the standard for getting your kids and how they have custody is the best interest of the child. And in there, in California now, it's codified in the code that if you don't have gender affirming care for your child, if they want to transition and you're not on board, that might not be in the best interest of the child. So that can be used against you. Yeah. So it's pretty shitty there. I will say about the men's rights stuff, that's fine, but a lot of it's bullshit, I think, as well. Yeah. Men become victims, and then they don't do what they need to prepare.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. And I see that a lot. But, in California, you can get, custody just fine if you're not a piece of shit and you take it seriously. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here you go.
That was not my best friend. Went to California court, and that was not his experience at all. Maybe
he's just not telling you the truth.
Around LA. No, I mean, this is my best friend.
He's just not telling you the truth. What do we have? Northside said, can we get a restrainer on behalf of the remaining podcast to protect them? Yes, we can. Well, we learned, and we had talked about this on there as well. And go check out the show. I think I did okay. You try to bring some levity. Not everything is serious, so you got to make some jokes here. But we talked about the birthright citizenship. That has not been decided. The only thing that was decided was the nationwide injunction. You can't have an appeals court or an appellate court, or one of these other, they can't do a nationwide injunction. Okay, so that they don't have the ability to do that. And that's what the Supreme Court said. They didn't rule on whether birthright citizenship is a thing. And I think that was Trump's executive order, which is going to be coming up shortly. And then we'll maybe have to see about that at that point. Anyway, so no injunctions on Tyler for podcasts. I don't want them to go away, but here we are.
Brandon, I've followed it for years. And I've been in the room when he's talking to his girlfriend, unless he is completely fabricated his entire life, it's not.
So I'm somewhat joking, and of course that's not every case. Everything is different. But I do find this a lot where people come in and they're like, okay, here's my issues. And I'm like, okay, let me see all your filings. And I go through them and you're like, okay, well, you're not telling me the whole story, or maybe you don't understand. There's things just called courts of law.
I'm sorry, before I interrupt, or before you keep going, I just want to interrupt to tell you one key detail is that he lives in Texas, not California. And I think that's part of the custody and why it's an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mentioned that before, which is Texas is a little bit different. So,
well, it's all in California courts, but he doesn't live in California.
Well, okay, so is he not living where the child does?
Yeah.
Yes.
He doesn't live where the child does?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, men. Your wife takes your child. We have I don't know, you guys all know Andy. Garbage man. Shout out to Andy. His baby mama took their child to Texas, got a court order, and he didn't stay in Tennessee and complain about it. He went to Texas, where the child was. That's your number one goal, to be in their life, and you get more custody when you're actually in their life. So, your friend, I don't know what his situation is. That's just my gut shot analysis.
After spending $40,000 on lawyers, he now gets summers and then like certain holidays, and he flies out to California to then bring him back to Texas, and he's worked it out now, basically, and I'm assuming that eventually the child, when he's older, will choose to live with him. Just based on...
Could be. I would just say move to California. Okay, and again, keep going. That is just, it somewhat blows me away. Not blows me, and you know, Sam's defended it. And look, not every case, because I've had cases where I think the guy's great, and shit just goes against him, okay? But you can continue and you can do the right thing and you can get the 50 custody or even more. My point is, it's not absurd and it's not even out of the realm. I don't look at a case and say, well, you're the guy. Now, I do on some circumstances, which is you've got a newborn. You've got a newborn in the house. You've never been a dad before. Maybe you knocked her up. This situation, you knock her up. You're not even together. She goes through, maternity all on her own. She has the child. Now you want custody. And the court's like, fine, you can have, visitation and whatnot. But the child's breastfeeding. The child for those first few years is going to be mostly with mom. Okay, I get it. My issue with this conversation that we just had was he's not in the child's life on a daily basis. What's going on now? Should she have come to California? We talked about this with another one with the guy that was the kids were being trans and whatnot. And even then you start to look at it more and you're like, whoa. The kids went to California. There's some weird stuff with jurisdictions. You're not there with them. Why are you not doing that as a dad? That is my problem. So complain and bark about, like you said, oh no, I've been there, I've been on the phone. Okay. Why is he not in the same town? What job? I am an attorney. I'm only licensed in the state of California, okay? Not licensed anywhere else. And if this situation was upon me and my kids somehow legally got moved to a different state, I would go to that other state. Maybe I would practice law online and be able to, still be, but I would live where those children are. Okay, I got divorced, 2008 or so, and the kids were young, and I was very close to them. Now, the baby mama wasn't, it's my ex-wife, wasn't crazy, and she was a good mom, and we always worked things out great. But if there were, and by the way, she was like, I'm never taking them away, and we both wanted to leave California, but we weren't going to move together, so we stayed here. It's like, that's kind of the reason I've been in this state as long as I have, is because these kids are number one. It wasn't their choice. Now, there are horrible parents and people that will take you away, all these little circumstances. All I'm saying is, what are you doing as a father or as a mom by not living in the same state? That blows me away. Whether you like or you even know this person, Laura Schlesinger, Dr. Laura, she used to have a radio show. And guys, and this is when I first realized this, with people would call in and they're like, hey, I've got my wife, the kids they're going to be moving elsewhere. And so, I'm trying to figure out what to do. And she goes, what do you mean figure out? And this guy's like, well, whether I'm going to go or stay. Why would you stay? Well, because, my situation doesn't fucking matter. And that's my thing. And so at some point you can see a look on my face with this here. Well, I was just kind of like frustrated. I'm like, okay, he's not going. You're going to see the kids in the summer. Fine. That may work when they get older, whatnot. It's those daily interactions with your children that mean a lot. My wife's best friend, this was just a little over a month ago, her 20-year-old son gets hit by a car and is dead. Okay, it's horrible. It's tragic. This guy was a good guy. So now she's like reliving things like, oh, I should have done this. Yeah, life's precious and things go on. And then next thing you know, you're looking back longingly about why I didn't have these kids in my life. There were situations, I'm sorry to preach on this, but it's so easy for me because I can't see any other solutions than being like there. My daughter maybe it was her mom's day and she'd call me like, oh, I forgot my lunch. I'm like, okay, one, you always got to import on these kids. And that is what I talk about with my family law case stuff. You always got to push in these kids, which is like, get your shit together. It's your responsibility, but sometimes there were things where she's like, oh, I left it at mom's house or I left it at your house. And I'm like, these kids are in a bad situation, which is unlike the other kid. And I'm not coddling them, but I'm more willing to do things for my kids because they are in a situation of 2 houses. It sucks. Okay, it was stupid. Now we made it work and it was all great, but it's not great for them. Okay. They had to go back and forth. They had to traipse more shit back and forth to school. And then when my son at least started to drive, he was older, they just put the stuff in the car and the car went back and forth. So that was easy. But it's like, okay, it's not their fault that this is in the situation. It's not the kid's fault that mom took them to California. And for some reason, you're not going out there. I don't know what it is. But anyway, enough ranting from me. Once again, I really like this. And I didn't have any problem with Sam, all these guys. They were great. It's the first time I had been on a show with Sam, Luke, and Typo. And sorry, Typo, for your face. There you go. At least to get this facial reaction a little bit better. Okay. Did we miss anything here? Did I rant? Minder, is this live on the 4th? Yeah. 511 back in the parents should go back and forth. Interesting. I have had some cases like that where Lily, the parents should go back and forth. So where the kids stayed in the house and then the parents went back and forth. That's just a lot, and I get that. You know, what we try to do here, at least in California, none of this is ideal. The ideal is that this shit never happens and that you stay together, okay, for the kid. But, you know, sometimes it does. So when it does, the best things for the parents is to, is to have continuity and consistency. That is a standard that we at least try to have, you know, with the kids. So, you know, the older they get, the less back and forth it is, and it's stupid and it sucks. Right? But you've got to do your best. And I see a lot of parents are just selfish at times. I have to drive this. I'm like, yeah, you got to do shit. You know, we had 4 kids because I adopted my wife's 2, current wife. And then we had the other ones. And, you know, they're all good athletes doing a lot of stuff. And you're just busy. You're just busy doing shit. It's finally nice now that we're not. But, you know, here we are. Bullshit 88 claims. I probably missed something. You would go to that state and do tax law because it's federal. I was admitted to a federal court. You know what? You're giving me some outs. Maybe I need to look at that. I really do want to move states, but I'm like, I don't want to take their bar, or some states there's no reciprocity you're talking about here. There are, like Oregon, Washington no longer have like a bar requirement, but you've got to go to like their schools. So there's some weird shit going on there. Marriage is about compromise and parenting is about sacrifice. You know, that's a really good way to say it, Jack. Yeah, I appreciate that. So once again, I hope I didn't come across as rude to these guys. They were fantastic and we had a really good conversation. So I appreciate that. And you guys should go check out 5 till midnight. This episode is called Anti-White Muslim Socialist Ugandan New York City Mayor with Tyler Yawkey. Okay, let's talk some more about bullshit, okay? We're going to rip on women. I mean, now, this is Tommy Lauren. I think she's a smoke show, but she's also just really kind of trash. But because this is the problem. It's not a brain up there. There's just a good look. But let's see what she has to say here.
I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. Now, there are exceptions. My parents got married. My mom was 19. My dad was 21. They've been together for 44 years.
Why is that the exception? That's just the one you know. But why is that the exception? Is that the case? I don't know. What was the original age she said? Between the ages of 20 and 30?
Are not ready, in most. I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. Now, there are exceptions. My parents got married. My mom was 19. My dad was 21. They've been together for 44 years.
Yeah.
Okay. It works in some situations, but to your exception and rule analogy that you used earlier, again, I think that men between the ages of 20 and 30 are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
Yes. No, broadly, I think you're right. But isn't it that's a cultural issue? So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your
Is she married?
point, I think it's a biological thing.
Well, then why did it work for your parents?
Exceptions and rules. I think.
Okay, so she's not the exceptions and rules. Okay, that's I think it is culturally, and by the way, so my son just turned 25. I kept saying 26. He just turned 25. He's engaged. They're gonna get married next year. Is he ready for marriage? Absolutely. He's fantastic. His wife, or soon-to-be wife, is great. He's got a job. I just talked to him the other day. He got student loans that were not exorbitant, because he paid his way a lot through college, and then got some scholarships and whatnot. So he did pretty well. Came out. I want to just say it's about 60 grand. Of different loans. He's paid one off, and he's expected to pay the whole lot off. And he by the way, just started working, almost a year ago. He's going to pay the whole thing off in 2 years. Okay, so first thing he bought though was a gun and a car. So I think he's great. Very responsible, very ready for marriage. Is he the exception? I don't know. His cousins both just got married this last year, females, and the guys that got married to are great. His other cousin got married as well. I mean, it was a crazy time for weddings, and his friends, they're all getting married. And I think you can be prepared. So it depends though. He comes from a different culture. You can hear how I talk and how by the way, this is kind of selfish, and it's also kind of like get your shit together type of stuff too, or learn, which is you're paying your way through college. Now, that does a few things. And we've done this with jobs and whatnot over the years and paying for yourself. I did pay for my son's golf today. Maybe lesson learned there. No, he's fantastic. He's working too. He's a chef. He's 19 and he's a chef at all. He not only does the cooking, he does takeout. He does. He's a waiter as well. So he does it all. The point is though, having them pay for their own college. That did something to my other son, which was, he was like, the oldest, he was going to do something else. And he's like, wait, I'm paying for this. And he's like, what I want to do to make sure that when I'm done, this loan means something. And he was engineering, then he was not sure, but then he settled on nursing, and it's been a good deal. So anyway, Tyler, scroll up and look at my comments, you homosexual, garbage man. Let's see, what did Andy have to say? That you trans me? I think I already saw that one. I don't Bizarro Jose looks grumpy. Okay. Bizarro Jose. Which one did you guys think? Let's pull this back up. In the chat, which one looks like Jose? Which one are you saying is a Jose? So which one is Cole? I'd say Sam is Clint. Maybe Luke. I mean, they all have their lives together better than Clint than Toad. Which one's Cole? Oh, you know who left was Adam Nutter. Adam Nutter might be Cole. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Top right. Oh, okay. Luke. Let's see, but Luke and Typo, the two on the right there, they were both military guys. Yeah, okay. Top right, Luke. Okay, that's their own Jose. Awesome. Okay, so back to Tom and Lauren or whatever it is. Some of these women like her that come on here, it's like their thing. They I don't know if they bash men, but it goes back to the family law stuff or men's rights, which is you tell them, hey, you don't have a chance in court, so don't even try. It's like you're not even good. You're not ready for marriage until you're after 30. Okay, so maybe they're not gonna. That's not what I think it's good things to do. I think 20 to 30 is the sweet spot for finding. Now, it might be difficult, but you've got to, I tell my kid, we talk about it on the show, never promise crazy a baby, right? Luke, Typo, and Sam are Marines. Yes. Thank you for updating us on that. Kyle is cool. They're all, I really like them. So I was really happy. Biting the Bullet, Luke and Typo's podcast. I've liked that for years. It's pretty good. I know a foolproof way to get custody. That is dark. That is dark. If you know Andy's, thanks for not throwing me under the bus. Andy, I used you as the example of the thing to do, right? And our buddy Garbage Man here, Andy, he did the right thing. And then I'm not going to finish this story. I'm not going to finish this story. Feed the other parent to pigs. I don't know what you're saying there. Just catching up. I got married at 29, engaged at 27, met at 25. Okay. And how old are you now? How old are you now, Minder? And you're still married. I told you, and sadly, there was one issue that we couldn't come to grips with. I like to be loved, okay? And my ex-wife just wasn't that kind of person. And oddly, she was until we got married, and then it just was kind of odd there. Nice person, but we were married almost 10 years, had 2 kids, and then got divorced. But, it's still, she's very good to the children. We've never had problems. And my wife now is just, she's my, I can't even describe it. So it's been, 12, 13 years. And she's the best. We are the best. I went and played pickleball this morning. I could just hang out with her all the time. Get the fuck out of here. I could just hang out with her all the time because we just have that kind of relationship. And that's wonderful. And I didn't think I would ever have that. So I'm pretty happy about that. And it sucks that you had to go through a divorce type of thing to get there. We already played that. Okay. I've got a few more items to look at. And then we can head out. Let's get into our Jew hatred. Just a little bit. Actually, I want to go to this one here. Okay, let's play this here because this is somewhat fascinating to me that this shit is taking place. But here we go.
I was heartened to see your memo that created the Joint Task Force October 7th. Thank you for your commitment to getting justice for those victims, for addressing the threat that is posed by Hamas, and for combating anti-Semitism. We have seen a rise in that in the last 2 years here on our soil, and particularly in college campuses. And so when we're making sure that anti-Semitism, terrorism, and civil rights violations are adjudicated and given.
What's interesting, so this is her, I guess, Pam Bondi created an October 7th joint task force in the U.S. And I'm laughing because she's like, your civil rights are important. However, if you were to speak out, and what are your civil rights? What do they include? One of those is the First Amendment and your right to free speech. If you speak out incorrectly, it's against the IHRA, the International Remembrance Holocaust, whatever, associations, whatever. Their working definition of anti-Semitism. You can be, there's 32 or so different states that have adopted this. Congress is doing it. It's bizarre. So you can literally, she's like, thank you for standing up for civil rights. I'm like, you mean when you're prosecuting people for their anti-Semitism? That is, their civil right is to be able to be anti-Semitic. So this is just crazy bullshit. And it's superb the way that this is happening, which is, you saw this with Ted Cruz. And by the way, I do want to do the second half of the Tucker interview because Tyler, I watched Scott Horton on Lex and Tucker. It was wild. So thank you, Andy, for bringing this to my attention. Let me just finish this thing and then I'll come back to it. So it's fascinating when you see these different things like Ted Cruz and, the calling you names. I was talking to my son this morning. He was talking about going to some friends' houses and these girls were like, oh, you voted for Trump. And he's, so you hate blacks and you hate all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, but not for the reasons you're saying. And it's like, I told him, I said, look, that happens. So it's their way. And we've talked about this multiple times. It's their way of, now I don't have to deal with your thoughts. I don't have to deal with your arguments because you're just a bad person, and bad people, you can, punch a Nazi type of thing. That's what they're doing here with the anti-Semitism bills and this task force. This is not our country. Right? You're not putting up task force. What did they put up? I don't know. Maybe they did. Did they put up a task force after the BLM riots and stuff for the blacks or for the whites? I don't know. Probably not. But they're doing it for oppressed rich Jewish students at Harvard. There you go.
Given the proper weight of the Department of Justice, I could not be more grateful. Can you talk to us a little bit about the work that task force has done, what you're seeing, and any priorities that you are pursuing to ensure that we eliminate anti-Semitism here in the United States?
Yes, thank you, Senator. It's staffed with dedicated prosecutors, agents, analysts, and linguists. And we are working hand in hand to support all of the efforts. You know, if you're a Jewish college student now, you should be able to freely wear your star around your necklace and around your neck on a necklace and walk into college campuses.
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that either. But can you wear the Muslim scarf, or can you wear the Palestinian kifa, or whatever the fuck that thing is that Yasser Arafat used to wear all the time? Can you wear that? Because when they were wearing those things, I believe I remember them saying that was harassment and watermelon and whatnot. So, and I'm sorry, these people are not serious people.
A young man tell me he had to take it off at a university because he was scared to death, and I was.
Okay, had to take it off, or he did take it off. And do you need to wear your neck? I mean, what are we? A bunch of Italian, Fredos here, wearing your necklace outside your shirt? Just put it inside. You don't have to have all your chains. What are we, Mr. T?
I was glad he took it off for his safety. You shouldn't have to do that. You should be proud of your religion, and you should be.
It would be Mr. G, though, right? Mr. Or Tannenbaum. Maybe that's who it was.
Safe to practice your religion in this country. And we will continue to do everything through the October 7th task force to protect everyone in this country.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, Andy says neither should be acceptable. So back to I saw Scott Horton on, I didn't watch the whole Lex one. There was one part of it where they're arguing about, he brings up that Adelson's had given Trump a ton of money, and they're like, I don't think that's even pertinent to the conversation. Pertinent to the conversation? Since when has it not been pertinent to all kinds of conversations? You have a bill getting passed, you have a company, a research project, and you aren't going to question who funded it, right? That's just, it's common sense. We do this with attorneys, even you get an expert, and one of the things you're going to do when you're cross-examining them, you're going to ask them, who's paying you? Oh, that other party paid you. Now, it's all legit, but you're going to infer a lot with that. Okay, they paid you. How much did you get paid? Let's talk about that. That's always in there. You don't think that, there's any influence? Why are they paying you? Why did Elon Musk give him tons of money, right? Now, maybe you as an individual are just giving them, $2,000 or $500 or whatever because you just want to see them elected. But even then, you want influence. You want your points represented, right? You want to be able to say, hey, that lactating mother, I want her to be able, anyway. So you want yours to be represented. Why are you giving millions of dollars to Trump through a PAC coming from the Adelsons, if you don't want influence? It's so stupid. So anyway, I didn't watch that one so much. I was watching the one with Tucker. Honestly, I've heard so much Scott Horton. It was a lot of good info in there. Scott just goes on, and I actually want, I want a little bit more, conversation. Actually, what I like is a little bit more debate type of stuff going back and forth. So I would have kind of, the Lex one was good. Okay, so maybe I'll check out the Lex one because it might be the one. Happy 4th, Force Woman. You too. We know what's happening with Twizzlers with you tonight. Good luck with that. And by the way, we got a private video here of, let's see, where did it go? Did I delete it? I deleted it. I was going to do the Esparto fire going on there with the fireworks factory blowing up. That was what we have going on with you. I hope you have a good 4th. The Adelson's name starts off as scary animal and the Jewish too. Good callback from the Rogan experience there, Mr. Garbage Main. Okay. We did that. What is this? No, this isn't the one I wanted here. Let's go. This isn't the one I thought I had. Oh shit, where'd it go? Okay, so I'm gonna have to try to find this one here. So what happened? Sorry, I had this joint task force. I thought this was the trans one. It's not. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me here. Let me see if I could find it still. There's a whole deal now, as we know, about trans and in sports. So I want to see. I'm sorry, I had it, and now it's disappeared on me. But I really want to show this video because it's dealing with cycling, and so it's something I can work with. Here we go. Let me see. Okay, my friend posted this. He went to okay, here we go. Let's try this. Okay, let's try it this way. Okay, so this is okay. So cycling. It's called Masters. Okay, these are amateurs and they're over 35 years old, and you race categories like between 1 and 5. But you if you're a 1, 2, or 3, you can go to national championships, and you also race in your age category. Okay, so with that in mind, I've done nationals multiple times as a pro, and then as masters as well. I didn't go this year. It's in Wisconsin. Sorry, I missed out. However, going out there, you have to register well ahead of time. And there has been some problems recently of males posing as females and racing and winning national championships. It's happened. There's one doctor person, as kind of the famous one. I don't even remember the person's name. However, to do so, it's actually been a little bit curbed with the UCI, which is the Union Cycliste International, the governing body for cycling. And for females racing with men, with females racing with men, they are just under the same drug testing category as men. There's like no big deal. You just can't be taking drugs like. But if you're a man racing as a woman, there are specifics. It's like nanomoles per something or other of testosterone. It's very strict. And when you look at it that way, from even the way the governing body has done it, and actually they're starting to strip this away even more and more, you can tell that there's differences in men and women because of the way that the testing is involved, right? So you've got to do certain things. Anyway, so this is a story that came out, and I thought it was somewhat interesting. So let's play this here. Take it away.
Female cyclists who raced in this week's USA Cycling National Championship say they were blindsided when they were...
Okay, let's just, I don't know how big we can get this here. Look at this. I'm gonna blow up the screen here.
A transgender athlete.
That's a huge
who ended up taking
person.
First place. Our next guest says that she had no idea she would be competing against a trans athlete by the name of Kate or KJ Phillips in this race, and believes that Phillips' presence in this race was hidden from the competitors before the race. Cyclist Debbie Milne joins us now. Good morning to you, Debbie.
Good morning.
Good morning. So you drove, 400 miles from Greenville, South Carolina to Wisconsin to participate. You spent hundreds of dollars to go to this, and you looked up all of the people you were competing against, at least the top ones, just to find out what your chances were, and decided to go. So what happened?
Well, yes, I did just that. All of the athletes were look up the list of registrations, and then we can understand who's participating, look up their strengths and weaknesses. And Catherine Phillips, Kate.
Yeah, start list. And that start list, by the way, every time I've done it, is there's a certain deadline to even be able to register. Okay, so you have to have registered. Doing day of registration at nationals is a big problem because the field may be full and you can't get in, so you're not going to pay your way to go back there to do this day of registration. So it's just, typically it closes certain maybe a week even beforehand for nationals. Some days it's day of you can do, but anyway, this is kind of important.
His name was not on that list, and yeah. I checked it up all the way to the point of closure when we couldn't register online anymore. And they said there would be no more registrations allowed after that. So it was hidden from us. The other athletes like Julie, my friend who placed second, agreed that they did not see Catherine Phillips' name. So basically we came to compete. We found out after the race, that's when we found out that there had been another competitor we thought just added. But Julie spoke with one of the officials who confirmed that Catherine Phillips had been registered since, I want to say, June 16th.
And they just didn't put Catherine's name on the roster?
Yes, my friend Julie actually had a visual on the computer screen that indicated and confirmed those dates. Yes.
So what was their reason for that? If they closed the date from signing up, all of the names should be listed. Why wasn't KJ's listed?
I can't answer to that. I think if the argument that all things are fair or equal, I don't understand, because if I don't agree that it's fair, to raise a biological male, which now the UCI or international or world governing body of cycling, governing body for the sport of cycling had confirmed that it is not fair, but USA Cycling monitors or governs our female, everything that is an elite 17 to 18 or U23, they govern all the other female national championships, and they have not come in line with this new evidence and this new decision by our world governing body. But I've learned since then, there is a policy, and I don't know if the policy includes hiding the names, but that has not been made. There's not been transparency there. I could have not been wrong.
Debbie, I know that your friend, Julie Peterson, she came in second, and you did talk to her after the race. She chose to boycott the podium. Tell us about that conversation with her.
Well, it was difficult. She's a class athlete. We respect our sport. I love my sport. I love USA Cycling. I've been racing for 25 years. She's about the same for her. And we respect podiums. It's really tough to do something that significant. It's disrespect. It would be, let's say, it's to honor our participants. So I think in that regard, she felt that there had not been transparency, that we, were given the choice to either compete or not. And because of that, she said, in this case, in the only case, and I said, this, if I was in second, I would have boycotted with her, and I never do things like that. But just because of the deception that was involved in us not having a choice to come or not, under those conditions,
Well, Debbie, please keep us posted on how they handle this going forward. I know that you have so many titles. You're an elite national title. You have an elite national title, a world masters title, 27 times masters national champion. You're a registered dietitian, and you say that biological men have an advantage. We did reach out to the U.S. Cycling for comment, but we didn't hear back. Debbie, thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, so I'm dumping this out here. Just a few quick comments with that is. Let me get rid of this. Cycling is woke, and so when COVID happened, I didn't renew my license. Now I could go back and by the way, I'm a category 1, so it's like 5 to 1, and then after 1 it's pro. And I used to be a pro, and then I actually kicked myself way down because I restarted and went back up to 1, and I'm not going to be a pro anymore. And so even though I haven't raced in a while, if I were to get my license, I'd have to petition if I didn't want to be a 1, and I'm a 1. But I don't even know that I care about racing anymore. Part of it, when COVID happened, the races were shutting down, and you're bike racing outside, and USA Cycling was part of this woke bullshit at the time. They're letting the trans situation get out of control. Even here in California, we're doing a race, there's women's race, and the dude's up on the podium winning the women's race. And there's women, this is what's fascinating here, because I live in Sacramento, and so you got Sacramento, and a big contingent of women racing comes from the Bay Area. Now, they're your typical woke lesbian, or not lesbian, but they're just ultra lefties. They were not speaking up for themselves because it was not politically correct, even though silently they were complaining about this dude on the podium, where my daughter walks by and says, "That looks like a man." That's literally what she said. And I'm like, well, what gave it away? The cock? I mean, this is the kind of shit you have. So I didn't renew my license. I'm not going back out there to do that. I'm not giving these pieces of shit money. It's ridiculous. but I am watching the Tour de France. There's a cycling license. Think of it, yes. So if you compete in any sport, you're going to, cycling is much like golfing as an example, where you get a handicap. So if you're competing, you don't want a beginner competing with, and so it's just a license, and the purpose of the license is, it's not like you show a cop or anything. It's when you go to race and you have a license that, and someone's going to put it on an event. But part of the big issue you need to be putting on an event is you're insured. So you go out there and you have liability insurance. So if there's a bike wreck that happens and you don't have insured, or the event, anyway. So you have this governing body that takes care of this. And that's also where you qualify and you move up, and then you become, a professional, or you get qualified for worlds, amateurs, Olympics, all that goes into USA Cycling. That's just the governing body. By the way, if you get involved in almost any sport, fish like that's competitive, you're going to have a governing body at some point, private, that's taking care of this. Rugby, fishing. I mean, anything you imagine, it's not a government license. It's a license from a governing body, a private organization that's dealing with this. It may get public funds, because, as an example, the Wild World of Cycling. I had no idea. Yeah. I don't know why I decided to talk about these things today, but here we are. Is there any last? Let's see here. No, I don't want to do that. I was going to see if there was another. I did have a video that I had done of cycling here. Let's see if I can find it. No, you guys aren't going to be interested in that. So let's just move on from here. Okay, so I think we're done. We're done, folks. And that is our 4th of July. Hope you guys had a good one. This weekend, time permitted, maybe I'll finish off the Ted Cruz thing. Maybe I'll get some clips of the Scott Horton thing. I am working diligently to put together some additional work behind the scenes that I'm going to get out. I have a new book. It's not in here, so I can't talk about it really. Let's see, last thing. I enjoy hearing people talk about just about anything that they are passionate about. Other than sports, I imagine you meant other than sports gambling shit. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Last thing I would say, the Coeur d'Alene fire, that was really interesting. That was up there in the shooting. I don't know what's going on with that. Once again, I have a lot of connection because my grandparents lived just on the backside of Mount Spokane. I used to go to a summer camp every year up past Coeur d'Alene. My cousin, who was also named Tyler, is one of my best friends. He lives in Coeur d'Alene. I got friends that live up there. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is just east of Spokane, Washington. And then there's this place called Hayden Lake, which I went to camp for years growing up. It's a gorgeous place out there. It's a little rough. There have been white supremacists up there. Remember, it's just a little bit south of where Randy Weaver was killed by Lon Hiroshi and his gang up there, Ruby Ridge and his wife. Lon Hiroshi was also the sniper out at Waco. Just some little facts here. So anyway, it's that kind of area. And I don't know really what took place other than Coeur d'Alene's kind of a little posh place, Coeur d'Alene Lake. It's nice. It's, if you're into golf, you ever see this island green? It's just an actual island you have to take a boat out to. That is Coeur d'Alene. That's the kind of shit you got going on there. So anyway, I don't know exactly what took place there. I just thought it was a little odd, and I did have a little bit of an experience. Our friend Owen Benjamin actually lives there, and so he had a little bit of this. Yeah, sorry, I've been drinking some beers. Yeah, no problem. John Belushi? I don't what's that in reference to? Did I say something about John Belushi? Maybe so. Okay, guys. Love you all. Have a good 4th. Enjoy. Be safe out there. If you have dogs, this is not a good celebration day for dogs. Our dogs will have a rough time for sure. And other than that, God bless you. There you go. God bless you. Have a good 4th, and may the America be with you. I don't know.
Stripes and bright stars through
Never mind.